गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीबॉडी। मैं सेल्फ आचार्य विश्वेंद्र। आज एक वीडियो बुक समरी डिस्कस करूंगा कि जो भी वीडियोस मैं बनाए हैं उसकी एक समरी आपसे डिस्कस करूंगा, क्या क्या उसके कंटेंट है और क्या उसमें आगे होगा। तो आइए स्टार्ट करते हैं। तो ये वीडियो है मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया पे, जिसमें मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया से रिलेटेड बेसिक फैक्ट्स, बेसिक कंसेप्ट्स, बेसिक टर्म्स, ग्राफिकल वेरिएशंस, एसआई यूनिट्स, सीजीएस यूनिट्स, सिंपल क्वेश्चंस, कैलकुलेशन ऑफ मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया अबाउट एक्स एक्सिस, वाई एक्सिस, जेड एक्सिस एंड उसके डिफरेंट मैनिपुलेशंस। फिर सेंटर ऑफ मास वाली एक प्रॉब्लम है, दो मासेज हैं M1 M2, इनके सेंटर ऑफ मास एक्सिस के अबाउट मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया का जो कैलकुलेशन, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है, कई बार ये एग्जाम में पूछा गया है, तो ये सब हमने डिस्कस किया है। देन एक वेज प्रॉब्लम डिस्कस की है कि ब्लॉक वेज पे रखा है तो उसके एक्सेलेरेशंस क्या होंगे यूजिंग इंटीग्रेटेड कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ नॉर्मल फोर्स एंड सूडो फोर्स। तो उसके कैलकुलेशंस हैं, किस कंडीशन में ब्लॉक फ्रीली फॉल करेगा, कॉन्टेक्ट लूज कर जाएगा, फिर उसका एक न्यूमेरिकल एप्लीकेशन है, फोर्स वगैरह क्या होगा, नॉर्मल रिएक्शन क्या होगा। तो मैकेनिक्स पे बेस्ड क्वेश्चन है। उसके बाद एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन है कि एक ब्लॉक दिया हुआ है 5 kg का, एक ऑब्जर्वर है जिसका एक्सेलेरेशन दिया है, आपको सूडो फोर्स फाइंड करना है। देन यू नीड टू फाइंड मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ सूडो फोर्स। Then there is a question on calculation of tension in a string using inertial as well as non-inertial frame, तो उसके applications हैं. Then is another question on the basis of frame of reference in different cases. Then we have a combination of springs to find their K equivalent in different possible cases. So this is discussed over here. Next are some questions based on spring block system. So we need to calculate the force, then time period, angular velocity, frequency, uh, the various parameters related in one complete cycle, then combination of springs, series and parallel combination, mixed combination. This is what we have discussed. Then we have the concept of spring force, the basic concept, how spring force emerges, its variation with displacement, calculations of spring constant in different cases. Then we have dimension of spring constant, SI, CGS unit, then variation with change in length and graphical variations, then K1, L1, K2, K2, L2. Then is a sample question on the basis of a mass is attached to a spring, and you need to calculate different parameters related to this system. Then we have a test on potential energy. So this is a test for NEET and JEE main level, and it's on the concept of potential energy, its definition, its relation with work done, its relation with force, graphical variation, combined problems. So this is all we have discussed in this particular video. Then is a simple question based on inclined plane, which is of a length L, angle theta. A block is dropped from over here, and we need to calculate the velocity, the speed at which block will come down. So this is using third equation we have calculated. Then its analysis, graphical variations, graphs, maximum, minimum, conditions on theta. Then we have discussed a simple question on two different inclined planes, 30 degree and 60 degree inclination, ratio of time period, ratio of speeds, ratio of accelerations. This is done in this video. Then is another problem, it's a lecture card on normal reaction, various parameters related to it, various facts, basic concepts, conditions when n is greater than mg and less than mg, n is equal to mg, and a simple question based on a mass in a lift. Under what condition normal reaction will be greater than 600, less than 600, or 600. So this case we have discussed. Then is another question, a tension based question. As uniform string AB is given, forces are applied as shown in the figure. You need to calculate tension at the various points. In another question, there is a vertical load. You need to calculate tension at various points. Then in the same question, there are masses as shown in the figure. It's the rod is having a mass over here, which is 12 kg. We need to find tension at different points on the rod. Then in another question, the system is in a vertically accelerating lift, and we have to calculate tension in different points. Then another question, we have a block attached to a wall, and we need to calculate tension in different cases. So this is we have discussed. Then is a question on block and rod problem. A force is applied on it, and we need to calculate. The first thing is acceleration of the block, tension at ABC, Then we have combined mass problem. Two masses 10 kg, 20 kg attached by massless rod, and forces are applied as shown in the figure. Acceleration of the system, tensions in the system at different points. So this is what we have discussed. In another question, we have discussed variation of tension as a function of x along a rod, graphical variation, impact of x on tension, then a vertical rod, tension at different points, graphical variation of tension maxima and minima, at which point there is a probability of maximum breaking of the rod, different cases, different graphs, their manipulations and calculation of tensions. Then we have discussed, there is a video on the concept of force, various types, conceptual discussion, four type forces, their characteristics, which one is greatest, which dominates in life, range of operations there. Then we have a discussion about the nuclear forces, the characteristics of them, the analysis of potential energy of nucleons as a function of distance, their variation. This is what we have discussed in this particular video. Then is the concept for calculation of tensions in a string at a particular point. So this is derivation of that. So this is we have discussed in this video. Then is another video on the concept of force, definition of average force, instantaneous force, calculation of force from momentum time graph, variations with angle, various possible cases. Then we have discussed a numerical question based on vectors, magnitude of momentum, magnitude of average force, then momentum as a function of time, then instantaneous momentum, then graphical variation, calculation of the forces. So this is we have discussed in this video. There is another video, there is a test on the topic of pure rolling. So it's a disk is given moving with the velocity v, omega is the force. Then we need to calculate various parameters for pure rolling. Then is a numerical based question on this. We need to calculate rolling friction, force for pure rolling, acceleration of center of mass, mu minimum in different cases. So this is what we will discuss in this video. It's just a summary of the videos. Next is there is a trick card on optimal physics. Trick is to find velocity of point P, velocity of G, condition of pure rolling. For pure rolling calculations, results, the final expressions for acceleration of center of mass, for friction. Then is a numerical problem which is solved. Then body can roll on smooth surface. Then calculations of minimum coefficient of friction. Then again a numerical problem based on that. So all these are the summary videos. I'll be uploading soon the detailed videos of it. It's just a snapshot of what we are gonna discuss. So sort of a pre video you can say, or just to give you a summary of the topic of discussion. Then we have another video on the neural retention, which is a dominating factor in cracking JEE NEET. So it's a thought experiment that what is meaning of retention and how you can develop good retention capacities. So this is psychological analysis of this and how you are gonna work and the coordination between brain, mind, and what happens during the when you dream. And there is a 9-minute exercise in this particular video. Then we have an optimal physics worksheet on linear equations. So there are certain questions on linear equations as given over here. So this is all regarding what we have discussed and how we are going to plan the video lectures. So video lectures will come one by one so that you can use them effectively. The purpose behind making these videos is to give a summary of my work, that what will be the content, the next content, or maybe what content I have discussed. So this is a brief summary of the videos that I have made. So this is the entire concept of making these videos is the concept of optimal physics, which is an optimization tool to crack JEE NEET with flying colors and get admission into an average college with average rank. See, everybody is thinking for getting rank under 100, but it's not really possible. It's not that easy, and it's not practical to think that you will get under rank 100 because the competition is at its peak. So let's think in a practical way, let's think in a rational way, and let's try our efforts in an optimized way so that we can achieve optimal results. Because the thing is, if you study too much, if you work in a very diverging way, but you are unable to converge that when you appear for the exam, so your efforts are gonna be wasted and you are not gonna to fetch good results. What happens is that when you start studying for JEE and NEET, there is a topic of, there are a lot of topics, there are a lot of, different levels. You can say you can choose a particular topic and can study that for your entire life. And in spite of that, there will be more to study. So knowledge is abundant. It's not never gonna to, you cannot say that you know something completely. So there exists the concept of optimal working, where I discuss only those points which are relevant for solving problems asked in JEE and NEET, which is the central concept behind optimal physics. Because nowadays thing is that when you will start working for JEE and NEET, you will have to undergo an information processing process. So let's take the example that there are about 6,000 A4 size pages that you have to prepare for JEE and NEET. An exam comes from 25 to 30 pages. So that means out of 200 page, only one page is important, and the percentage is 0.5%. So you need to be very precise. You need to, have a good retention capacity if you want to crack JEE and NEET. So there comes the role of optimal physics, in which will train your mind brain system to improve your retention process. And it's a firm belief that if you are able to score only 60 to 70%, it's more than enough to fetch you a seat in the government college, and have a good career, have a good future, and to earn name, fame, and money. So the concept for optimal physics is that optimal training of the mind brain system, optimal utilization of information process and energy, so that you can score better and crack JEE and NEET without much stress, without anxiety, without depression. And that neural pattern which you learn during the study will help you throughout your life to perform professionally also. Because getting admission into IIT, NIT or government funded institute is not enough. You have to perform there also. But the things, the mind training program that you will undergo over here, using physics as a subject, that will develop your mind brain system, and it will help you out throughout your life. So this is my firm belief. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.